All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Let me know. Well, obviously, you know the routine, how we get it started. So, again, thank you for joining me. Tonight, we're going to talk about the situation out in Maryland. Will it make matters worse for the country, part of the world? I'm hearing a lot of mixed results that could happen. So some people seem to think that this thing out in Maryland, the bridge collapse that is going to cause a bigger supply chain issue. I don't think so, but we're going to get around to that in about 2 seconds. All right, Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5. Ozark Prepper, Flown Grown, Jeep Girl, Truthful Troll, Leona, Jean, thank you for the 5x5. Cat Girl, Bush Pig, Mike, John, Double Q, Lisa, AJ, Mary Miles, Silvergram, B Wolf, thank you for 5x5. WTC, Lexi, Winter Homestead, thank you for the 5x5. Mike Gunner, Carmi, Buy the Book, Dobie, Paul, Larry, Sojourner, thank you for the 5x5. Crow, Mossberg, thank you for the 5x5. Winter Homestead, thank you for joining us. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been a minute, actually. Crow, thank you for 5x5. I think if I said that already, sorry. Beef and Chicken, you're not late, but thank you. Lauren, thank you for the 5x5. All right. So, Paul F. Yes, we're going to address that real quick. So, for those that do not know, and you probably haven't followed it, there was a police officer, many of you probably know, there was an NYPD police officer who was shot the other day. And we're going to get into the specifics on what went down. But a semi-good thing happened. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, showed up to the wake today, and she was asked to leave. Because of her bail reform, this kind of nonsense is going to continue to happen, and is happening because of such. So, she was asked to leave, and she actually left. So, good for her. Richard, thank you for the donation. So, with that, guys, that was a good thing that happened. I mean, and listen, I have to give it to her, Hochul, for leaving. Now, is she going to throw a temper tantrum in her office and start calling down here to have heads roll and all this other bullshit? Who knows? But she left without making a scene. So that was sort of good. But it was even better that she was asked to leave. And a lot of politicians, in fact, were told, not asked, but told not to come. Because a lot of the Democrat politicians are the reason why this is going on in the city. Now, the police officer that was shot the other day, he was making a routine car stop, and he didn't expect to go down what went down. Now, the routine car stop was probably just going to end up in a ticket or a warning, but this asshole decided that he was going to whip his gun out and start shooting. Well, he shot the cop, killed him, and they arrested the suspect, I think, a day later or whatever it was. And so a simple traffic stop that would have got him a ticket at best. Now the guy's doing life in prison, and the family is without their husband and father, or father. So, and his kid is only 9 months or something like that. So, politicians need to feel this a little more. I mean, asking them to leave was a good step, but we got to turn the heat up on them. I mean, like, big time. Yeah, well, Paul F., I know Letitia Jane was asked not to come. I don't know if she was, I can ask. I have a couple people I can ask whether or not she showed up. Yeah, I got a cold, I guess, right? I got a cold. I started getting a sore throat, and I was handling that shit, but I got a cold, so excuse the sound effects tonight. But anyway, with that, guys, with that, all right, Northern Girl. She said she can't see the live chat. She can't see the chat. So, yeah, there's always something going on with YouTube. It's never it never runs smoothly, you know. Yes, the suspect was arrested 20 times or 21 times, and again, bail reform, right? So, and And listen, I mean, I remember growing up and cops getting shot like here and there, and then cops being killed. I mean, one time is one too many, but it seems like there's more cops getting shot now than in the last 10 years. You know, like when a cop got shot, there was often like a break in between. You know, like a couple of years went by, but it seems like almost every year now a cop's being killed. So, and this is all due to the lack of respect, the lack of respect from the people, the lack of respect from the politicians backing the people, and then the bail reform coming out and just screwing everything up and making matters a whole hell of a lot worse. Cops are at the all-time low on respect. I mean, I've never seen. I mean, listen, even in the '80s, there was an understanding in the streets. Cops had an understanding. Criminals had an understanding. If you were busted, you were done. You didn't sit there and fight. The handcuffs were put on you, and either you sued or you didn't. This new shit, this new wave of kids fighting every time they get arrested. You know how many times I had cuffs put on me? There was not one time I went kicking and screaming. Not once. They put the cuffs on me. I was like, here we go. And then that was it. It was done. But the way the kids act today, everybody, not even just kids, everybody's acting like a savage when they get cuffs on them. Like, yo, shut the fuck up. Let the cuffs slap your wrist. And then sort everything out later. The time to get into it with a cop is not when you get cuffs put on you and you start kicking and screaming, and then they have to get a little tougher or rougher with you. And especially now that your hands are behind your back, they could go to war with you. And there's nothing they can say because you were acting like an asshole. So my advice is, don't act like an asshole. Yeah, double Q, the stink bug got me. You know what? Yeah, I felt drained after that drive. Like, you know, I did the 12-hour drive. I was up. I think I got like 2 hours of sleep, and then when I got home, I was up for the rest of the day, and then I went to work the next day and did a 24, and now I'm regretting it. So anyway, it is what it is. And it's not even that. I also ate like shit on the road, so that played a huge part in it. And yeah, Mike Gunner, that was the other thing too. Cops took your head off. Like that was the thing. Like people understood. All right, I don't want to have two black eyes and a busted jaw. Let me just get these cuffs put on me, and then let me go to jail, and that was it. Be easy. Motherfuckers are not easy anymore. Everybody's screaming and like, why? I'm like, yo, just put your hands behind your back. Calm down. You get into the cell. You can explain whatever you got to explain. The cops are either going to charge you or not. And even if they charge you with bullshit, so what? Then you get kicked loose. Like, it's not the end of the world. But to fight with a cop at that moment makes no sense. I don't understand it. I watched so many videos of people screaming and carrying on. And I'm just like, yo, like, you're not getting out of that situation. There is no variation in any universe where once the cop decides to arrest you, that you're getting out of that situation. Like, not a variation on this planet, in this universe, rather. Sorry. So, yeah. Richard is saying a major firefighter and PD cut is coming in Houston. Is coming to Houston, Texas. No shit. I didn't even know that. I wasn't aware of it. But the roaming prepper could absolutely do a video on it because that's his wheelhouse, Texas. But I mean, I'll look into it as well. But he should definitely do a video on it. Yeah, the I can't breathe crap. I mean, like, listen, I didn't. Between what was it, Eric Gardner and George Floyd. I mean, like, just go with the flow. Whenever you're about to get arrested, just go with the flow. I don't give a fuck if you hate the cops, like you hate Biden, or you hate Trump if you're liberal. I don't give a fuck what aisle you stand on. Just go with the flow. There's no use in fighting it. The cops are not going to be like, oh, guys, he's fighting. Let's leave him alone. And then get back in their RMPs and drive off into the sunset. It doesn't work that way. The stupidity that's out there today is it's astounding. Astounding. But anyway, it's all bullshit. Just fucking. Now listen, there have been some times like Anthony Byers, when he got killed, that was some straight up and down bullshit. And he had already resisted, and for whatever reason the cop choked him out. Right? So I mean, and there was they did like I guess it was like a documentary or a documentary news clip, whatever it was, like 30 years later, whatever it happened. and they were talking about it, and he had and multiple stories. He had already given up. Like he was like he wasn't fighting anymore, and the cops decided to cops decided to choke him out. That was a different situation altogether. But the shit we're seeing now, they're like the lady was yelling at a cop. I saw a video of a lady yelling at a cop. Apparently she got in an argument with another guy. It was this black dude, and the black dude kept turning the camera to him and going, another, I think he said another liberal, and he goes, another Democrat. That's what another Democrat acting stupid, and she's fucking screaming and yelling, and the cop was looking at her like, yo, calm down, like, let's talk, and she's like, no. I'm like, what a fucking asshole. Like, somebody ever yelled at you before, and they had that ugly screaming face that you just wanted to sock them one? You know, like the ugly scream face, you just want to bang, like just right backhand across the face. Like, that's what she was doing. I'm like, man, if I was that cop, I would have lost my shit. I'd be like, enough already, lady. Either walk the fuck away or you're getting arrested. Because now I don't want to hear your complaint. But the officer was entertaining her complaint. Listen, I would make a very bad police officer in this day and age. I would have gotten fired 1,000 times over on my first day. Because there's just shit I'm not going to tolerate. And then there's things that, like, I wouldn't have locked up the lady in Queens who was trying to kick people out of her home. I would have got written up and or a heavy discipline for that. I wouldn't have cared. Somebody's yelling in my face and spitting in my face, they're getting a nightstick right across their knees. Because that is the worst place to hit somebody. You don't want to hit them in the head, go for the knees. That could do some fucking real damage. But that would have been me. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't have gone far. My mother told me that. She was like, you, a cop? No way. The temper you have? Yo, do we have a free? Oh, he says joking. Okay, the Free Palestine guy was like, listen, the protesting out here. I saw in Washington Heights. It was a group of like 20 people, maybe 30, and they were like Free Palestine, and they were standing across the street yelling at some store, but I couldn't make out which store they were yelling at. And I'm like, yo, nobody cares. Like, these Palestinian assholes marching in the street, no one gives a fuck. No one cares what your gripe is. We have bigger issues about to unfold in this country and around the world, and these morons are standing there with their Palestinian flags screaming Free Palestine. I just don't understand. The people of today just want to be wrapped up in their bullshit. Like, they always want to be angry. Like, I'm an angry dude, but I don't always want to be angry. These fucking people go out of their way to get angry. Like, just out of their way. But yeah, anyway, guys, sorry about all of that bullshit. I'm gonna start the actual show. Also, guys, if you do not mind, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. I was gonna do this last night, by the way, but yeah, I was tired. I was fucking destroyed. I couldn't wait to get into bed. And what fucking happens? I decided to do 2 videos and took forever to edit them. I went to bed at like midnight instead of going to bed at 10. Fuck. It never happens that way, man. Every time you try to crawl in the bed, some shit pops up. You're like, fuck. So anyway, doing the live stream tonight. And then back to work tomorrow. And then I guess I have Easter off. I don't know. Who knows? So Lauren, the whole April 8th thing. I have my opinions on April 8th, and one opinion is nothing's going to happen. I think, guys, that the bigger the hype, the less likely shit's going to happen. And that's what I've seen and noticed over the 46 years I've been alive. The bigger the hype, the less the issue. The lesser the hype, the more problematic it could become. Anyway, there are a lot of places there are a lot of states that are going to institute or activate the National Guards. Hey, Kate Teacher, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while either. Thank you for joining us tonight, by the way. Yeah, and so they're activating the National Guards because there are going to be a lot of people going to these states, the area where the eclipse is happening. And they think that they're going to be overrun with people. A lot of places are going to be annihilated with traffic. I mean, like, out of control. So people are saying that if you're going to go to one of these areas, make sure your truck is full. You have enough gas. I want to see if I can go to one of these spots. But I want to go, like, to the middle of the woods, right? I don't want to go, like, to a city, like buffalo. I want to go like in the woods somewhere. You know. That's the thing, right? Patrol. I can't. Dealine, if I said that right. That's the thing. The fear mongering is out of control with this shit. Like people are like, yo, the 8th, someone was asking my opinion on the red heifer, which the Prepper Revelator just told me about a couple days ago. He mentioned that. And then she mentioned CERN's firing up their collider thingy, collider thing on April 8th, the same day. And that got my attention as well, that the fact that CERN's is firing up their, whatever the fuck that thing is called, on April 8th. And I'm wondering if this solar eclipse, is going to cause something. That's why they're firing up, to see what happens. I don't know. NASA seems to be worried, but they're downplaying it by having citizens help with what they call that, citizen science or some shit like that. They had a term I never heard of, where citizens around the United States are going to gather information, record sound, which I'm like, why the fuck is this eclipse making any sound? I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? They want you to record animal activity, the sound that this shit might be making. I don't know what sound it could be, and then take pictures. And I'm like, and then, like, again, I think that nothing's going to happen, but there is a side of me that entertains shit happening. For example, the guy all of a sudden that has this rare condition that sees demon face. Get the fuck out of here with that demon face shit. He's not seeing demon face, he's seeing demons. That's my, the Large Hadron Collider, right. The kaleidoscope, right, that thing. So anyway, and I'm like, and now this guy's seeing demons. CERN's wants to fire up their collider in April 8th. People are nervous about the solar eclipse. Like, there's a lot of shit going on. And one side of me seems to think it'll be all good. The other side of me is just entertaining the possibility of something going wrong. Especially when you firing up your head. What is it called? The Hadron Collider? Right? When you're firing that thing up? Yeah. And then NASA's like, hey guys, get involved with the science. Start writing shit down and becoming nerds for a day. No, I don't want to be called a nerd for a day. Yeah, Paul left, right? It's called shrooms. Absolutely. People are probably going to get high, right? They're going to start taking acid so they can really trip out on that. There seems to be more attention on this solar eclipse than the previous ones that ever existed. That's what got piqued my interest. Piqued my interest is the amount of attention this is getting, and this is getting a large amount of attention. So the red heifer, I again, the Prepper Revelator, he explained it to me, and I was like, there's something about a red cow, right? Female cow is the mark of the beginning of the tribulation or something in the Bible. It's in the Bible. I mean, you're gonna have to Google it. But when he told me that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So this is what's gonna happen. April 8th, the red heifer is gonna be seen on TV. People are gonna flip out about it. The guy who starts seeing demons is gonna start seeing more demons. I think he doesn't see everybody as a demon face. He's seeing certain people, and interestingly enough, it just started in him. It appeared out of nowhere. The whole rare thing that he has going on with him. Then he got the red heifer. So people are going to flip out, see it on TV, start screaming and yelling. CERN's is going to be like, fire it up. And then they fire up their little collider thing. That thing starts spinning, opens up a portal, and demons start coming out of it. And all the demons are shaped and look like Rosie O'Donnell, but with horns. And they come out eating Twinkies and shit, talking about where's the food, and fucking start running around. Now we got fucking 30-foot Rosie O'Donnell demon-looking things with horns running around, and then the world ends. Oh, okay, so K-Teacher said the red heifer will be sacrificed by the Jews. The Jews will sacrifice this. We shall see. We shall see. Again, I'm not nervous or like, oh my God, at all. I'm like, whatever, man. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. I am so done with the bullshit. Like, if shit gets out of control, so be it. So the fuck be it. Full of hope. They lived. Yeah, that I was thinking. I was like, what if this guy's seeing not like they said they. I thought they said he doesn't see everyone as a demon, and that's what got my attention. I might have read that wrong, but if that's the case, he's not seeing some people as demons. He's seeing people for who they are. There are, and I've always thought this. I've always thought, again, in my conspiracy theory world, I've always thought that there were people out there who hide amongst us, and they're demons. Frailty with Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey, and I think it was either Jim Caviezel or the other one from not Jim Caviezel, the other guy from Jim Caviezel, Matthew McConaughey, I think it's Jim Caviezel and Bill Paxton. Frailty, very good fucking movie to watch. You watch the movie and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, all right, yeah, and then the last 30 seconds or 45 seconds of the movie brought the entire movie together, and it was fucking awesome. Awesome. I if you haven't seen Frailty, guys, see that shit. That lends to this guy seeing demons. That's all I'm gonna say. I was really impressed with that movie. I remember sitting there watching the movie and going, all right, the basic like whodunit movie. Nope. It went somewhere the fuck else at the end. And it made all the sense in the world. That was the first movie that actually tied everything in and made it fucking fit, and it was a phenomenal ending. It was by far the best ending I've ever seen in a movie. Like, best. Because it had you thinking one thing, and in the end, pulled it all together. Awesome movie. Yes, and he also had Devil's Advocate and Jacob's Ladder. But Jacob's Ladder, he was dying. Frailty is not a scary movie. Frailty is, it's almost like a mystery. A supernatural mystery. Let's put it like that. But it's good. And then you have Constantine, which the one with Keanu Reeves was good, but they could have did better. And they could have gone a lot of places with it, but they didn't. But anyway, sorry. Back to let's start talking about what we're going to talk about. All right, guys. So, will this situation cause a nationwide disaster? On the Angry Truth, we're going to talk about the economic disaster that it could cause as well. But this is going to lend to the supply chain disaster that they keep telling us it's going to cause. I don't see it. Prime Prepper, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And Christy, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And if I missed anybody else, thank you for the donation. Sorry. I apologize for that. Fallen was good too. Fallen was good, but Frailty is it's a really good. And Nefarious was a good movie too. I thought that was good, but I think you guys are going to get a better kick out of Frailty. You just got to stick to it at the end, man. The Ozark Negro, thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. But yeah, man, you know it's again, just look that movie up if you can. So, guys, the phrase was thrown out there, death by 1,000 cuts. That we're going to see events like this over the course of the next few years, right? And then we'll probably see the grand show open up. Right now, the grand show is not going to start, at least not yet. The big show, it's going to look a lot scarier than we think. I think, guys, we won't be able to wrap our heads around some of the shit that we're going to see. Now, there was something about a pope. No, not a pope. 3 kids, they saw an angel. The angel left them a scroll. And they were ordered to take the scroll to the pope. So these kids, if I'm not mistaken, got their parents or whatever it is, and went to go see the pope. Well, they went to their local church, and the local church delivered the scroll to the pope, and it was for his eyes only. Anyway, the kids said they described the angel they saw. The angel didn't come, like in the form of wings and shit. It came in the form of a man. This man gives him a scroll, and then this man disappears. The Pope gets to read the scroll, and inside the scroll was nothing short of a nightmare. So anyway, with that, he describes that there's 7 days of chaos on this planet, and that it falls into darkness, and it gets so bad outside, you are told to stay indoors. Then there's a warning, and the warning states that do not look outside, do not go outside, and do not listen to what you hear outside, because you will be tested. You will be tested in the worst way. Your deep, darkest secrets will come out. Your deepest fears will come out. All of this shit. And this is in the scroll, according to the Pope. And I forgot which Pope it was. So anyway, that story wind up being a myth. And I wonder if it's a myth because the Vatican said so, or did it really happen? And somebody's saying Fatima. Is that what it is? But anyway, so the darker part was, again, what piqued my interest was the darkness outside and the evil outside and the amount of people that will buckle because they will hear a voice of their loved ones. They will hear their darkest secrets in their head. If they murdered somebody and didn't tell anybody, that person might be outside. And everybody could hear the nonsense outside. So I always thought about that, and I was like, no, I'm not talking about a movie, Beef and Chicken. This was a scroll that was given to 3 kids in South America somewhere. And they were told to deliver this to the Pope. But anyway, that story always sticks with me. And then I found out that it was a fake. And I'm like, well, if the Vatican states it was a fake, the 3 secrets of Fatima. Okay, that's what it is? All right. The Miracle of Fatima. Look it up. There was a movie called Fatima. And then Brandon answered, it's a bunch of BS. Well, here's the problem. I could see the Vatican. The Vatican lies about everything, right? I mean, like the Vatican's like the government. They'll lie to your face. So the Vatican, I feel, they hide evil. They deny that it exists now. They don't believe in exorcism like they used to. There was a change in guards at some point, and the Vatican for good became evil. It's why they accept so many of them banging little kids and moving them around and paying out victims instead of punishing those that do evil. They do have an exorcism, what you call it, but it's few far in between. They rather people check into a psych ward when some evidence suggests that they are, in fact, possessed. So with that, I feel that the Vatican has fallen, and it's fallen a long time ago. And the people that are there now need to be removed. But Fatima. Susie says it's pronounced Fatima, not Fatima. All right. 10-4. The Miracle of Fatima movie. Northern Girls Hobby put the link in. So anyway, I think the Vatican has fallen a long time ago. I think they are ushering in what happens next, spiritually, that is. But yeah, it's not looking good if that is the case. But anyway, back to the bullshit. So, guys, death by 1,000 cuts is a phrase that was thrown out there, and we're going to see more of these kind of things happen throughout the world, rather, not the country, throughout the world. We're definitely going to see some crazy shit. Now, some people were breaking my balls about why were people filming the bridge, and there are probably 6 or 7 videos of people with their cell phones recording. Now, people like the captain gave a mayday. I'm like, all right, he gave a mayday. So what did people do? Run to the shoreline with their phones and recorded this? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, some people seem like they were just at the right spot at the right time. All of their video pretty much start when the boat loses power. Their videos started like almost identically at the same time. I think one is a little longer, but still, it's just strange. There's a lot of strange things about there. Now there are a lot of questions being raised, like the coincidence of the lady who just passed away, the Asian lady that passed away. She was in a Tesla, and her Tesla all of a sudden went in reverse and went into a pond or a lake, and she wound up drowning in her car because she couldn't get a window and her door open, so she wound up dying. That lady was a CEO of the same company that owns the boats, from what I understand. And when that lady died, and I found out who she was before this incident with the bridge, I said, yo, they took her out for a reason. This lady is a gazillionaire. And gazillionaires just don't die, and your Tesla doesn't all of a sudden go into reverse unless they wanted to. So when I saw that, I was like, aha, something's up. Then the bridge crashed, but I still don't make the connection until someone points it out, and I'm like, get out of here. So definitely something went down in regards to that. So, yeah, guys. Again, it could be wrong. What are you doing in the shoreline? Yeah, thank you, Slim Shady. What are you doing at the shoreline at 1:30 in the morning? Again, if he gave a heads up and people were buffing out on their radio, maybe. But I doubt it very much. I really do. There's no way on God's green earth these people, were walking by and saw the boat and ran to the shoreline to record it. Again, it just didn't make sense, And K Teacher. So here's the rub, the distraction, like with P Diddy. I don't think P Diddy's a distraction. I think P Diddy's a real situation, though. He had to have knocked out because he's doing okay today. He gave the peace sign to a cameraman. So the whole P Diddy thing's not a distraction. We're definitely, nothing else is going on. I think this was a straightforward fuck you. But again, I'm still entertaining the accident side because we're not sure. But there are too many coincidences that are starting to pop up. So, go figure. Anyway, guys, a lot of people seem to think that this scenario, this thing that happened in Maryland, is going to turn into a cascade of supply chain issues, and that we're gonna, food this, and no, we're not. I mean, first of all, that port ranks 9th in the nation, if I'm not mistaken. They were one of the busiest. They move. There's a Domino sugar plant, I think that's there. They move coal, cars, and car parts. A lot of the companies like Mercedes, Mazda, they're affected by it. But Mercedes, for example, Mazda, they have enough car parts to last them a couple of years, so that there's nothing that's going to be of urgent. They're probably just going to request more parts now, so it gets to them whenever it gets to them. A lot of the ships that were going into that port are being rerouted. There are boats there now that can't move out of anywhere, so they'll be fine. Again, it's not the end of the world, but for whatever reason, there are a lot of channels reporting this shit to be like the end-all, be-all. I'm like, yo, it isn't. Listen, clearly people didn't do their research. You have to do both sides. I mean, listen, I've been at fault at that too. I'm not going to sit here and play innocent like I always do my research. I've been caught out there with not doing research. But this is not going to be as big as an issue as people are making it out to be. That's as simple as that. So, what we know about the ripple effect of the Boston Bridge collapse. That is an article. The stunning collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge on Tuesday will have economic impacts for beyond the city of Baltimore. It really won't. The Port of Baltimore, one of the biggest in the United States, has halted vessel traffic indefinitely in the wake of a bridge collapse, which is expected to affect the flow of commerce in the United States. Again, whatever. Let's get through this bullshit first. Maryland Governor Wes Moore declares a state of emergency after a cargo ship, which he said issued a mayday call, struck the bridge early Tuesday. Search teams recovered the bodies of 2 of 6 missing. They recovered, I think, 1 more yesterday as well. The decades-old bridge, by the way, the bridge was opened in 1970 or 1977. I want to say 77, but I could be wrong. The decades-old bridge, no, 1970, because they said it was over 50 years old. So anyway, the decades-old bridge offered a key transport in helping link Washington, Baltimore, Philly, and New York. Now, this bridge was specifically used for hazmat material, being that the hazmat material, they don't want it on 95, and they don't want it going through the tunnels. They have it, or the tunnels on 95, the same thing, sorry. And they have this bridge for it. So that now hazmat material has to go through a longer route. There is a longer route, so people are like, well, where are they going to move it to? They're going to move it around 95. They can go down a couple of other interstates, and it'll just take longer. That's all. A little more gas money. It's too early to determine how long the port will be closed. Maryland Transportation Security Paul Weedfield, if I said it right, said Tuesday. The Port of Baltimore is a vital waterway. Whatever. Again, it is, but it's not the end of the world. We have so many ports in the East Coast, and there are a couple of other ports close to that one. It's not really going to make a difference. But let's carry on with the scare tactics for now. Just bear with me. The Port of Baltimore is the top handler in the U.S. of imports and exports of cars and light trucks. Are light trucks like SUVs? Because I'm not sure. Opened in 77. All right, I was right. Thank you. Let's go. And who else put it there? Joe. Thank you for that. And Water Tiger. And Joe and Mike Gunner. All right, guys. Thank you for that. So, let's see. Where the fuck were we? The top handlers of light trucks, according to the statement from Moore's office. His office also called it one of the largest economic generators in the state. It ranks ninth amongst the U.S. harbor for both tonnage and dollar value of foreign cargo passing through. The collapse of the Key Bridge is a global crisis. No, it isn't. No, the fuck it isn't. I don't understand why they keep drumming this up, unless they have an angle behind it. Moore said that on Wednesday at a Wednesday briefing. The national economy and the world economy depends on the Port of Baltimore. Now I know why he's saying that. They're saying that so that they can get federal help and help fast, to open it up faster. That's why they're saying it. They're dressing up. They're making this a little bigger than it is. All right. Tonight on the Angry Truth channel, we're going to talk about the economic implications of this. We're also going to talk about how a couple of other things that are being implemented are going to, without a doubt, cause economic hardship on the individuals. I don't think this is such. Anyway, by the numbers, in 2023, the port handled a record 52.3 million tons of international cargo, worth about $80 billion, according to the state's archives. The port supports more than 15,000 direct jobs and more than 139 indirect jobs connected to the port, generating $3.3 billion in personal income. Yeah, the 139 indirect jobs are also probably like truckers and shit like that, which I don't know why they add them in, but whatever. Maryland Senate Bill Ferguson announced Wednesday that he would be introducing an emergency bill to pay workers impacted by the bridge collapse. Why do you have to put an emergency bill in for that? Just pay the fucking guys who were directly affected by this. Like that, we got to do a bill, we got to vote on this. Just give the fucking guys the money. Why does everything have to be a fucking a dance and a show? The economic stability lost to thousands impacted in the days ahead cannot be understated. Sorry, this is what Bill Ferguson wrote the other day. Between the lines, the parts location is a boon for business. It's closer to the Midwest than any other East Coast port, and it is within an overnight drive distance 1/3 of the country's population per the Maryland state. These people are really milking this shit. It's the closest port to the Midwest by 20, 30 miles? Anyway, whatever. The significance of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The Francis Scott Key Bridge opened in 1977 and is the outermost crossing of the Baltimore Harbor, according to the Maryland Transportation Administration, not authorities. If you read the article says authorities, it's administration. Stretching 1.6 miles, the bridge sees about 11.3 million vehicles crossing per year. 11.3 vehicles crossing a year? I don't even think that's a lot, but whatever. The bridge also offers traffic lanes and lower maintenance costs that's why it tumbled so fucking easily. Lower maintenance costs than tunnels would have. What other impacts have been observed? The Maryland Transportation Administration began redirecting cars to alternate freeway routes and issuing a major traffic alert for Baltimore. At least 10 commercial ships bound for Baltimore were forced to drop anchor in the nearby waters Tuesday as port traffic was suspended. So they're just going to reroute them. I mean, like, there's one article I was reading where the guy was just like, they're going to reroute this, they're going to put this here. He was like making it a no-brainer, but everybody else is like freaking out over this shit. Whatever. Between the lines, the bridge collapse just ahead of Easter could mean worse traffic than normal for both families and truckers traveling over the holiday weekend. If you know about this, you're going to travel differently and leave earlier or later, depending on what you're doing. Several major companies, including Amazon, FedEx, and BMW, have distribution warehouses and other facilities at the industrial park at the north end of the bridge. The bottleneck of imports and exports could also spur a shift to moving goods through the West Coast port, according to Bloomberg. I don't think they're going to get that drastic. They're just going to go to another port on the East Coast. And I was looking into other ports in the East Coast. I'm like, just move the fucking ships there. Like these articles, whatever. It is what it is. See how the Key Bridge collapse, this is another article, will disrupt supplies of cars, coals, and tofu. I really fucking hope it does interrupt tofu. Tofu's fucking animals. Who eats that shit anyway? The link I dropped in there is for the first article. Let me see if I can find a link for the second article. I can still pull that up. Oh, yeah, here it is. And this is the second article that I just read off. This is see how the Key Bridge collapse will disrupt the supplies of cars, coals, and tofu. Fucking tofu. Who eats that shit anyway? Your perfume. I don't have perfume. I don't wear perfume. She's just telling me in general. Yeah, spam versus tofu. I vote spam. I mean, who the fuck eats that shit? Someone goes, vegans eat it. No shit. That's why they're all growing vaginas. Because they're eating tofu. Anyway. The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore on Tuesday cut off access to much of the city's port, causing a suspension in vessel traffic that will disrupt the key trade lanes and threaten further tangled, already stressed supply chains. Whatever, dude. The Port of Baltimore was the 17th largest in the nation by total tons in 2021 and an important artery for the movement of autos, construction machinery, and coal. It handled 52.3 million tons of foreign cargo worth nearly $81 billion in 2023, according to the Maryland data, which creates more than 15,000 jobs. You guys heard that. On Tuesday, the Port of Baltimore said vessel traffic will be suspended indefinitely and out of the port until notice. Anyway, but trucks would still process in its terminals. Baltimore's not one of the biggest in the United States, but it's a good, moderate-sized port. It does cars, it does bulk carrier, it does containers, it does passengers. Baltimore's top part in the nation for auto shipment, having imported and exported more than 750,000 vehicles in 2022. Again, who gives a shit? They're fucking cars. I don't know why. Whatever. I'm trying to get through this without fucking being annoyed, but I'm being annoyed. Baltimore is also a niche port for the soybean trade, focusing mostly on high-value soy used in tofu, miso, tempeh, did I say that right? And organic products, according to Mike Stickenhold, or whatever the fuck his name is. Most of those exports are destined for Asia, but Steenhoek doesn't expect a big spike in tofu prices because several other U.S. ports also ship this sort of soy, including Norfolk, Virginia, Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. There goes the other fucking ports. East Coast ports have become more important in recent years as the United States attempts to boost its trade with friendly nations and reduce geopolitical risk related to the trade with China, which generally happens via West Coast ports. Again, Baltimore's ports are suspended indefinitely. Yeah. We heard about this shit. Coal shipment will need to be rerouted to other parts. Koffler Endler said, I don't know how to pronounce that name. And Ryan Peters, executive chief of logistic company Flexport, posted on Twitter or X that the company currently has 800 containers on a slew of ships heading for the port that will need to be rerouted to Philadelphia or Norfolk. The biggest problem Steenhoek sees from Baltimore shuttering is the knock-on effect to other ports. That's the other thing that I guess I didn't mention. The other ports also will be rerouting to other ports, but other ports are going to have to pick up the slack. And they're already understaffed, so yes, that could create a problem. But again, guys, not an end of the world supply chain problem like we saw during Mr. 19. We saw a huge problem with Mr. 19. That was different. This is, again, car parts, cars, and tow food. Who gives a shit, right? So they're just going to have to reroute shit to other places. So this is another article. Let me see if I can find you guys this link. Wait a second. Let's see if I can... Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to find this article for you guys. Nope, that's not it. Okay, that might be it. Yeah, this is it. All right, the collapse of the Baltimore Key Bridge, which severed ocean links to the city's port, adds fresh headaches for global supply chains global supply chains already struggling with the effects of war, climate change, and higher interest rates. This climate change talk, guys, that I keep hearing, it's everything now. What are they worried about? Scientists are worried about something with the planet, and it's wobbling or something. And not wobbling, rotation. Time. They're worried about the time and how the planet is spinning slower, so time is longer, and they're attributing that to climate change. So, again, the climate change, it's getting old. It really is, man. I mean, like, everything's like, oh, the ports are struggling, climate change. Oh, you know, the cows, they're dying from the heat, climate change. You know, fucking Rosie O'Donnell's eating so much, climate change. Like, they connect everything to climate change. Whatever. All right. And then the higher interest rates, I said that. Tuesday's mishap means a significant disruption for the East Coast shipping, with trades in auto, coal, and machinery likely to be the hardest hit, according to the government officials and the industry executive. It comes as global shippers are grappling with the historic drought that has left the Panama Canal without enough water for routine operation, as well as 2 wars in Europe and in the Middle East that have turned routine commercial voyages into daring adventures and or nightmares. 2 years of rising interest rates also have increased the cost of larger inventories, which help manufacturers and retailers guard against unsuspected snafus. This comes at a particularly difficult time. Benia, chief executive of Rizlink, I can't pronounce that, a supply chain management company. With interest rates high, companies are looking to keep product moving. The container ship that struck the bridge at 1:40 in the morning or 1:30 in the morning Tuesday remains snarled in the span's twisted wreckage. again blocking the sole channel that connects the port of Baltimore to the Atlantic Ocean. On the dock, trucks continue to move cargo, but the vessel traffic to and from the ports are suspended until further notice. We noticed already. Again, according to the the Maryland Port Administration website. Nothing's going in and out of the port. Nothing's going to get in for the foreseeable future unless they clear away that rubbish. Now, I don't know what's going to take them so long to clear that out of the way. We have enough ingenuity to do so. So why is it taking such a long? Why would it take a long time? I don't understand. Now, if they, while they're investigating, clearly they can't move a lot of shit out of the way. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have a couple other bodies to retrieve. So maybe that's why they're being easy with it. Who knows? But I watched them clear traffic at fatal car accidents faster than you can fucking wipe your ass. So this here, being that if blocking this is this detrimental, which I don't think it is, I think these articles are making it or blowing it out of proportion. But even if it is, they should find the bodies, get the fucking scrap up, and get the boats moving. I don't know what the problem is. But whatever. I mean, listen, I know that a lot of the cranes can go in the water and pick some of that up, but I also do understand that they have to have underwater divers go under and cut a lot of these metal parts into smaller pieces, right? And or cut them into smaller pieces and leave them down there and have ships go over them. There's also that. So let's see. The actual impact, guys, is what we need to be watching for. Again, this is not going to impact our food supply. This is not going to impact anything major. They're making car parts, tofu, and coal into this big to-do. It really isn't. And the people who can't eat their tofu, big fucking deal. They'll get it from somewhere else. Coal, yes, people are still using coal, especially across the ocean. They're just not going to have some coal for a little bit. Again, not the end of the world. If this boat would have hit the George Washington Bridge, for example, just using it as an example. Granted, the George Washington Bridge is like, 500 feet in the air, so there's no boat that's going to hit it. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that there was a support beam in the water, and the ship went full speed and hit the support beam and collapsed the George Washington Bridge. That would be detrimental. That would cut off or slow down to a crawl the amount of food that comes in the city. All of our food comes directly over that. Most of our food, sorry, I don't know the percentage, but I know it's a large percentage, comes directly over that bridge. Some of our food does come on by train and boat. So we do have a port here by Hunts Point or in that area, in Brooklyn maybe. And then we also have trains that come here, and truckers would have to go through another route that is not exactly built for trucks, and that would just jam up traffic. The amount of traffic you would see in the city if the George Washington Bridge went down would be devastating. Devastating. That's a bad bridge to hit. There's a couple of others in the United States that are just bad to hit. That happens there, fine. This bullshit over here, whatever. The water channel has to be completely removed. The ships are only 1 foot off the bottom of the channel. All right, I didn't know that. So then, all right. So cutting it's not an option. They got to remove it. 104 million vehicles cross the George Washington Bridge a year. So just imagine that being hit, or someone detonating it, or a device goes off on it. That would be bad. That would be excruciatingly bad. That would be painful. You would see food rationing in the city. You would see violence skyrocket. You would see people not be able to buy the shit they want and need. Things would get bad if that bridge went out. Right? If that bridge fell, you would see the apocalypse in New York City in like a week or so. Maybe 3. But it would be bad. But yeah, so again, this port here, not the end of the world. Shipping costs have increased in recent months, though not nearly as much as during the pandemic. The cost of sending a standard metal container from China to the U.S. East Coast now costs about $5,000. Ooh, damn. $5,280 according to Freightos, an online freight marketplace. That's more than double the cost 1 year ago, but nothing like the 22,000 price tag in the fall of 2021. That's when the supply chain was really bad. So that means the shipping cost was a lot lower than that a couple of years ago. Whatever. Supply chain snags then were so bad that more than 100 container ships were idling outside the port of Los Angeles waiting for a berth to unload. All right, Baltimore is also a relatively modest player in handling the shipment containers that carry most household products from Asia and other points of the United States, ranking 15th in the nation according to the Economist with the J.P. Morgan and Chase. The port's idling will have only minimal implications for inflations in new cars. Its most significant cargo, they said. So cars might take a hit, but again, big to do. They're going to get them eventually. They're going to route them somewhere else, offload the cars, and then have to transport the cars by trucks, which they always do anyway. So that it's just going to be a longer drive. It's going to be a longer delivery. That's it. Again, guys, not the end of the world. So again, the actual impact, we have to wait and see. I do not see happening what a lot of people are trying to make this out to be. I watched 2 videos in aggravation. I've never been so aggravated watching a video on people talking about the economic implications and how bad it is. It's not going to get that bad. It really isn't. And the vegans, they might be the ones passing out because they're not eating tofu. So fucking be it. Cars and car parts and coal, again, the coal was being shipped out. Not the end of the world. So people are definitely going to play the fear-mongering, fear drum with this bullshit. The fear-mongering with this one. But I don't know. I guess it's just the season of fear-mongering. Who the fuck knows? Thank you, Adriana. Listen, we'll see. We'll see how bad this is going to get. I don't think it's going to get bad at all. Now, again, they hit a major highway and knocked that down. That's a game changer. Again, the George Washington Bridge, people do not realize how bad that would get. People do not realize that people wouldn't be able to come into work. Cops, firemen, EMTs, sanitation guys, correction officers would not be able to get into work. Postal employees would not be able to get into work if that bridge went down. Because the amount of traffic that would be rerouted into getting here through the Lincoln Tunnel or the Holland Tunnel or the Mary Cuomo Bridge up north to get into the city, forget it, man. Forget it. It would be bad. Everybody who comes across the George Washington Bridge knows how bad that bridge is on a bad day. So imagine that traffic now getting divided up into the 3 ways into the city at that point. It'd be bad. People would be like, shit. People who live right across the bridge would have to go all the way down to the Lincoln Tunnel and take a bus through there. And again, that traffic would be nothing short of a nightmare. Then people would go to the Mary Cuomo Bridge, which is up north from me, go across there to go into Yonkers to come down to Major Deegan or the West Side Highway. Or the Henry Hudson, rather, sorry. They would have to come down there. That would be fucking nothing but backed up traffic. So it would just constantly be traffic everywhere. I mean, look, if I looked on 95 right now, I would see nothing but traffic. Nothing but cars making their way to and from. So that would be bad. That's the worst one to hit, actually. But with that, guys, I don't see this being a big to-do. I really don't. I know people are going to make this out to be a big to-do, but we'll be okay. There are other things to worry about. There are probably other things that are going to happen that are going to make this shit look like a walk in the park. We'll be all right. Anyway, guys, with that, I'm going to go off the air now, head over to the Angry Truth channel, talk about some of that shit for about 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. And then, yeah, that'll be it. But, yeah, that'll be it. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. I'll see some of you guys in about 5 minutes, and I'll see the rest of you guys next week for the doubleheader, right? Other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.